Hello, everyone. Come on in, say hello, type in freedom now. It is Monday, April 20th, and today we have a lot of good and important things to discuss, okay? Some good, some bad. This is the reality of immigration today. It's going to be a mix of both in this one, and then certainly we're going to go into your immigration questions. I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer in New York. We're located in White Plains, New York, but we work virtually with clients across the United States in all 50 states and many other countries. So type in freedom now, freedom now, freedom now. It's so great to be with you. I hope you had a terrific weekend. We can be reached at McBean Law Friends at 914-898-9488. If you're joining on TikTok, welcome. Double tap the screen. Instagram, hello, hello. Let's get going. I see that Connecticut is in the house. Guys, tell me where you're joining from today. Freedom now. Maureen, good to see you as usual. Thank you so much. Haiti is in the house. Jamaica is also in the house. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Okay, someone is already asking a question. How much is the consultation fee? At McBean Law Friends, every case starts with a consultation, and our fee starts at $300 with my colleagues and $399 for me. Good to see you all. Say hello, hello. Thank you. Blessed Thanksgiving. Nice to see you again, Connie. Hello. Freedom Now, Florida is in the house. Texas is in the house. Something would be wrong if we were talking about immigration and those two states were not represented today, right? There's so much going on in those states. New York City is in the house. Michigan, my old stomping grounds. Chicago, good to see you. Seattle is also here. Thank you. Awesome. Hello. Come on in. We're going to talk about breaking news, okay, involving USCIS. And I'm going to play a clip for you guys on McBean Immigration TV and also on Facebook. So if you'd like to see the clip that I'll be playing momentarily, just head over to YouTube or over to Facebook so that you'll be able to see what the others are seeing. Indianapolis is in the house. New Jersey is here as well. Freedom now, guys. Freedom now. California. Excellent. Thank you all so much for being here today. Thank you for the gifts. Maryland is here as well. Brooklyn, New York, I see. Thank you so much. Okay. So, friends, let's talk about the first big thing. Okay. The first big issue has to do with USCIS. Things have things have things appear a little quiet, right? Right? Things appear quiet these days because we're not seeing on our phones all of these many disturbing videos of ICE cracking down on people as much as we were before. And so we're kind of feeling like, oh, things are getting better, right? Things are getting better. But then on the policy side of things, things haven't gotten better. As a matter of fact, they're getting worse, really. And so USCIS has decided that they are going to re-examine old green card cases. You might have seen this in the news. Yesterday, the director for USCIS was, I guess, on the news circuit and being interviewed. And he talked about the fact that, of course, they're going after fraud cases. Yes, we know that. That's nothing new. There's nothing new there. But what is also being discussed is the fact that the agency plans to create all these special tip lines, right? Um, they're adding more special agents and launching various tip lines for folks to just call and report suspected immigration fraud. And they're going to be working alongside ICE and CBP with regard to investigating the various tips that they receive. Now, you might be saying, oh my God, my ex is going to call them up once she hears about this or he hears about this. They're going to call USCIS and ICE and say that the green card that I got through him or her was fraud. And now I have to worry about that. And I've had my green card for 10 years, or I might even be a US citizen. Now I have to worry about it because USCIS is going to review these old cases. I'm not saying that. guys. I'm not really going to that extent. I don't know how far they're going to really go, honestly. I don't. But I don't want you to worry so much about things like that because, quite frankly, I'm sure they receive a lot of tips. Okay, already, but it's impossible to investigate every single thing that comes their way. But these strong words and language is being used today by the department officials to indicate that they're going to reopen old cases and look to see what went down as far as fraud is concerned, what happened. Um, just so you know, they had already started doing this review of what they suspect to be fraud cases. This is not anything like extraordinarily out there, but for some reason, they've decided we're going to revisit this. We're going to talk more about it, and we're going to have more tip lines. Another thing that Edlo has said has to do with the fact that with regard to green card holder, people who are applying for a green card, he wants them to be able to prove that they are going to be self-sufficient. And this is something that they tried also during Trump 1.0 when they changed anyone remembers the I-485? Remember, it used to have a lot more questions about like self-sufficiency. And actually, I think they had a different form, if I'm not mistaken, that focused back then on self-sufficiency. They might be bringing that back in because Edlo has said that we want people to come to this country who could take care of themselves and are not going to be drained on the public coffers. If you cannot pay for yourself and take care of yourself, you are not going to get a green card in this country. Okay, so this idea of self-sufficiency, I think, is coming back, and it might be coming back in a stronger way. But what I'll do now is I'll play a clip. You could hear it for yourself from Edlo on what he's thinking and doing with regard to USCIS reopening old green card cases to look for fraud.
What's your message to the two different people? The folks out there committing the fraud, and then the folks that might be seeing it. What should they be looking for so they can blow the whistle? Final one to you.
Well, in terms of the people that might be seeing it, vigilance is always going to be the key. Let us know. We are going to continue to set up tip lines, especially as we have our new special agents on board. We want to know what you're seeing so that we can investigate it. No tip is too small. We will look into it along with our partners at ICE and with CBP. And in terms of the people that are perpetrating fraud, stop, because we're going to find you. And even if you've already done it and you think you've gotten away with it, we're going back. As you noted earlier, we are looking at old cases. We are going back and re-vetting cases for people who were granted green cards and granted other benefits during the Biden administration when there was no vetting. There's vetting now, and we're looking at these old cases. So be prepared to face the consequences.
Well, there you have it. We're going back. We're going back. So we'll see how far back they go or, the extent of it. Now, going back means that things will slow down because, there's only so much capacity they have as far as staffing is concerned to really go back. So they're talking about going back, guys, and reviewing cases and the action that most likely they will take in some cases is to issue the individual a notice to appear in immigration court because for many of these cases, it's too late for USCIS to revoke the green card. So it has to go through an immigration judge process. As things pick up, maybe, I don't know, with this, we're watching it as well. I will be sure to report back out to you guys on what we're seeing as far as this going back to old green card cases. Now, secondly, guys, another big thing that has been in the news lately is a Cato Institute study that was published recently about the fact that the Trump administration has cut legal immigration more so than illegal immigration. That's the PBS title. PBS article has that title. Trump has cut legal immigration more than illegal immigration. And in the article, guys, I'm going to just focus primarily on I'll just focus primarily on legal immigration. I'll just pull up the chart here for you so that you could see this. And I don't know if anyone else has been questioning this, but it looks a little funky to me, the data, because what I see here, and I could be wrong, I read the footnote, but so Cato Institute has the 2024 legal immigration data compared with 2026 current data, which, as you guys know, we're not that far into 2026 to begin with. In any event, under legal immigration, it includes legal asylum entry at the various ports of entry, refugees coming into the United States legally, immigrant visas being issued around the globe, H-1B visas, fiancé visas, and student visas. And you'll see here from this chart that Cato Institute created here that legal immigration has declined by about 132,000 visas that are issued and individuals allowed to enter the United States legally through asylum and refugee programs. And they're making an argument here, obviously, that legal immigration is a huge target of the Trump administration. That's nothing new. We know that because of the various pauses on, there's a pause on immigrant visas that is applicable to 75 countries. Then you also have the USCIS adjudication pause applicable against 39 countries. And there's a little bit of overlap, of course, between with respect to the pauses, those two in particular. And then you have other things going on the policy side of things to make it even harder for people to be approved. Then you have these bonds on visas, visa bonds against quite a number of African countries and some other countries. So you have this attempt, as I've been talking about, to place a moratorium on legal immigration from third world countries. And so you're seeing we're seeing, Cato Institute is tracking the data on this. And what they've found so far is that with respect to illegal immigration, they have it as illegal immigration had fallen by 80%, over 80% before Trump. That's what they said. Before Trump, it had fallen by over 80%. Asylum seekers entering legally fell 99.9%. Okay, so asylum, as you guys know, is under a huge attack. Refugees entering legally from abroad fell by 90%. Immigrant visas for legal permanent residents, this is the immigrant visa, guys, fell by about half. They cut it by about half. Visas for fiancés and spouses of U.S. citizens fell by 65%. International visas fell by 40% last summer. H-1B visas have likely fallen by about 25%, and legal entry cuts are now likely 2.5 times higher than illegal entries. And so that is, this is new data from the Cato Institute. But again, I'm just questioning, questioning here, guys. Obviously there's a data issue going on there. But the intent is there: cut legal immigration by policy and by various pauses. And it's significant. Now, before I give you guys an update about what's going on with our lawsuits, I also want to mention that something big did happen on Capitol Hill for Haitians last week. The House of Representatives passed a bill that would extend TPS, temporary protected status, for 3 more years. And it was a measure that was supported by all Democrats and 11 Republicans. Of course, it's over on the Senate side, and the future there is uncertain. It's unlikely, I think, for the Senate to take this up. But this is huge. This is a very big push. And what it shows to me is that the Haitian community has the political power, okay, political power to move the needle on Capitol Hill, because this is really significant. So, so we'll, certainly keep an eye on it in the event that the Senate does something big there with that bill as well. But as you guys know, the U.S. Supreme Court has the issue in front of it with regard to TPS for Haiti. About our lawsuits, guys, we have a lot going on, okay? LIFT, Litigating Immigration for Freedom Today, our federal litigation practice. The first big news that you probably, I don't know if you saw my videos on this, is that out of Boston, the case out of Boston, which is the USCIS 39 country adjudication pause involving 99 plaintiffs, that case, the judge issued a stay. In that case, a temporary stay, which is great and huge, because what it means is that USCIS cannot apply those directives against our plaintiffs, only our plaintiffs. This is not a class action lawsuit. USCIS cannot apply those directives against them, which means that those folks, the adjudication process needs to continue all the way to final adjudication. And we're already hearing some very good things so far from some of our plaintiffs. I'm not going to share now. We're going to continue to collect the data and information from them. But some things are moving and happening. We still have a ways to go, obviously, with this lawsuit. We're going to be filing our reply brief. The government has opposed it. No surprise there. And we have until the 22nd to file our reply brief. And then the judge is going to set a hearing on our motions for temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction. And so that's going to happen. Hopefully by the first week of May or so, we might have our oral, the hearing to argue those motions. Then there's, the plaintiffs. We had a terrific Zoom meeting last week, and I had a technical glitch that allowed them to speak to me directly. It was so funny. 2 minutes before the Zoom meeting, I realized, oh my God, the chat has been disabled. Now what? But it was a great opportunity to speak to them and to answer their questions and to get them on, asking their questions. It was wonderful. So we are communicating with our plaintiffs in various ways. So that's the 39 country. Now, we have opened up onboarding last Thursday. We opened up onboarding for round 2 of our USCIS adjudication pause lawsuit. Here's the link in front of you. And we have announced that onboarding is going to end May 7th. However, there's a lot of folks registering already, so onboarding is likely to be cut short, guys. Just so you know, it's in my mind and intention to probably cut onboarding short because of the pace that folks have been signing up. And so we have a goal in mind as far as the number of plaintiffs that we would like to get in this one, and we're very close to that, actually. So if you are interested in joining our round 2 of the USCIS 39 country adjudication pause lawsuit, I highly recommend that you sign up as soon as possible because of the onboarding, the pace of things. Okay, so here's the link. You can screenshot this. It's McBeanlaw.com/USCIS dash adjudication dash pause. So go ahead and get in, guys. So lawsuits are unpredictable. We're not guaranteeing any degree of success or outcome here. Okay, if you have questions about whether you're eligible for it, speak to a lawyer about it. We are unable to answer individual questions. The volume of our calls are really, really high right now. So please find your way to get your answers and speak with a lawyer about this if you have questions and concerns. But this is self-explanatory on our website and FAQs. So go ahead and register if you want to join this next round of lawsuit. Now, the 75 country immigrant visa lawsuit, we have on board filed our case. Ours is 52 country, okay, 52 country immigrant visa pause lawsuit that was filed last week in Washington D.C. So that lawsuit has just started, and there's a ways to go, of course. And so we had also filed a motion for temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction. So that 52 country lawsuit has been filed. Okay, so we are slugging away here at McBean Law with a lot of litigation that lift that we're leading. So thank you guys for trusting us with these very important issues. Now, let's get into your immigration questions today. Freedom now, freedom now. Okay, where are we? Let's start with McBean Immigration TV. The first question is about the travel ban. What happened with the travel ban? So the travel bans, nothing has, there's nothing. They're still in place. The travel ban is still in place. Travel ban, the presidential proclamations, they're still in effect. Let's go down. Oklahoma's in the house. Kentucky, awesome. Michigan, Delaware, keep going. Nevada, Barbados, Alabama. Okay, let's go down. How fast can I get my FOIA record? The last I checked, USCIS was moving at a 6 to 8 week pace. That's the last that I've checked. The other agencies can, the time frame varies actually, and it could take a very long time, certainly to get records from the immigration court system. Same with State Department and Customs. Customs tend to take a very, very, very long time. All right. Thank you guys. Freedom now. Freedom now. Let's see. The 75 country pause, I'm seeing questions about it. None of the countries, to my knowledge, are out of it so far. It is still 75. Thank you. Let's see, go down a little bit. Okay. Let's see. What update about the Form I-130 visa? I'm not sure what you're asking there. I-130s are being processed. You've got to reframe that question. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what specific issue you have there. Okay. How about if USCIS in 2019 said my marriage is a sham marriage, and until now they keep denying my current wife's I-130. At the same time, I have a pending asylum case. How dangerous is all of this? Going into your asylum interview, anytime you get in front of USCIS, they could certainly ask you various questions about various whatever you had ever filed in the past. I would be normally at an asylum interview, they don't go into details about an an I-130 case or marriage fraud, 204C. It might even be possible for them to approve the I-589. I don't know how bad things really, really, really got with the old case. How dangerous is it now? So USCIS has kind of died down a little bit with the arrest on site. I really haven't been hearing a lot of detail, a lot of, feedback from other people about what's happening at USCIS lately with regard to arrests. So it's unlikely that they're going to apprehend you at that asylum interview, but this 204C can be a problem or will be a problem when you're trying to do adjustment of status, even through the asylum case, if they grant you the asylum. So that's how it can come back up later on. Okay. Thank you. Any idea when the 75 country visa pause is going to be lifted? No, I do not have any idea or sense of when that's going to happen. Freedom Now. Thank you guys for being here today. Double tap the screen on TikTok if you're now joining this live session. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. It's kind of hard to follow those questions there. They're moving really fast. Someone says the big question is why lawyers not fight this pause and get a result very soon? We're not talking about illegal immigrants. We are talking about legal immigration. It's just strange since January, and there is no answer yet. Well, some of us, we are being proactive, as you heard earlier, to fight the various pauses. For those who join our lawsuits, we're not doing class actions because those are too long. They take a long time. They're very complex. They're very expensive. We don't have the resources to do a class action lawsuit. That's why you would find that nonprofits, they typically are the ones that do these class actions. Now, other lawyers across the country are also filing their injunctions for their clients. Some people are doing it. Some lawyers are doing it for one client. Others are doing maybe group lawsuits like what we're doing. And we're doing both, actually, individuals and individual lawsuits as well as the group lawsuits. My wife had her fingerprints taken on February 4th. How long does it take for change of status? That is the I-485. My wife came here on the fiancé visa. The adjustment of status process for spouses is moving fast these days, friends. So depending on what information you've already shared with the government, how good your case is, they might call you guys in for an interview very soon. But your location might play a factor in how long you're going to be waiting. It just depends on how fast that field office is moving too. All these different factors. Thank you. Okay. Our moderator is putting information in the chat here about how to join our 39-country USCIS group lawsuit for the second round. So you can click the link there if you're interested. By the way, I'm not answering any question that starts with, why aren't you? Or why are you? Why don't you? No, those aren't the ones I'm looking to answer today. No, thank you. I'm opting out of those types of questions. It's so the tone is just so off-putting. But that's just how I feel today. Not doing it. Okay. If I were to join the second round of plaintiffs for the 39-country lawsuit, what would be the estimate timeline for the lawsuit? So the way we did it, with the first two lawsuits that we have going currently, is we kept onboarding going for like 3 weeks or a month. And then within a month. We said within a month we would file, and I think we were late by a week with the 75 country, and that was because of various issues. Like I said, litigation, it's unpredictable. There's a lot of moving parts, and these are big, complicated group lawsuits. So as you can imagine, we are challenged as we go along, but we are getting the work done and getting it in front of the judges, and the USCIS lawsuit is already seeing some really good things, good movement. But for this one, the new one, onboarding, like I said, is likely to be cut short because we are almost at the level that we were seeking. And so, so after it ends, within a month, we will get it filed. We have a lot of declarations. Each plaintiff, we actually communicate with them and prepare a declaration. We review their documents, and it's a lot of work going back and forth with, can you imagine, 99 people, or even more this time around. So our team is working very hard. After it's filed, it will be up to the court. It will be up to the judge. It's hard to say how long it's going to take to get the hearing on the motion for TRO and preliminary injunction. We, are in the best case scenario, we would really like to see a decision, maybe within 3 months of filing the case. That's just in the best case scenario. Litigation, however, things can go in a different direction. Okay, so keep that in mind. Whether you do an individual suit or you do a group lawsuit, you're still faced with the same challenge of litigating the case and all, and the government's response. And it's a lot to research and write and motions and briefs. There's just a lot to do. What's this one? Does USCIS dismiss the asylum case, or they can refer to EOIR after the interview? So USCIS, I have last year, we saw some people, some new clients come to us who had asylum cases at USCIS, and those cases were reviewed immediately, very quickly, and for an interview. They were interviewed really fast. I mean, weeks after filing. It was so surprising to those individuals. And of course, they did not get a work permit because their asylum application wasn't pending long enough. And then they were sent over into the removal system. It was a fast pace. I think they're still doing that. But normally people do wait for years before they're interviewed. And then if it doesn't go well, they're referred over into EOIR, into the court system. Freedom Now. Why are interviews taking so long? What type of case do you have? And where are you waiting? Are you outside of the United States, or are you inside of the United States? I'm going to ask for some help here. Talk is fast. Excuse me. Send them here. Okay, I'm going to need some help with TikTok. It's moving really fast. So I've asked my colleague we're going to select some questions and get them answered for you, TikTok. It's true for G. Okay. Freedom Now. Let's go down. Okay, so normally after someone is arrested, someone is asking a question about bond. Normally after an individual is detained, they're placed in removal. Okay, if you're placed in, if you hadn't already gone through the removal system, you will be issued a notice to appear in immigration court. A lawyer, of course, can be hired and file a motion for a bond with the immigration judge on your behalf. There is a new movement in a couple of circuits. I want to say it's the 5th and 8th Circuit that Court of the Court of Appeals have said that individuals who entered the United States without inspection are not entitled to a bond hearing, but most everyone else is entitled to a bond hearing. And if the judge grants you the bond, then you're released and you can pursue your removal case from being back home in the community. Freedom Now. Thank you. Can my wife and I file taxes if I'm not working but had a Social Security number before? So speak with an accountant about whether you should be filing taxes, if you have enough income, if you met the threshold to file taxes. I don't know. I can't answer that question. Okay. Okay, question from, I think this is TikTok, right? My I-45 and I-130 based marriage, are these TikTok questions? My I-45 and I-130 based marriage case, they canceled my interview last December. Do you think I will get a rescheduled interview? My interview will be rescheduled. Um, It most likely it will be rescheduled, but you are waiting. This is a long time to actually be waiting for a rescheduling. Have you contacted USCIS about this? You should contact them about this. And then also, are you subject to the adjudication pause? Because if you're subject to the adjudication pause, this could very well be the reason why you haven't heard from them yet. Okay, I'll need more questions. Um, Okay, let's see. My sister and I are US citizens. Almost 3 years ago, my sister filed for my 81-year-old mom, who has been in the United States for over 30 years. We have been waiting all this time. Now, this is kind of unusual. That's a very long time to be waiting because here you have an immediate relative filing. You could reach out to us to see what's going on with this case and whether you should file a writ of mandamus to force that next step, but certainly put in some service requests with USCIS. You could also reach out to your congressman or congresswoman's office for some assistance. What is the difference between a group lawsuit and a class action? So, our multi-plaintiff lawsuit will only achieve the result for the named plaintiffs in the lawsuit, whereas a class action applies more broadly to everyone who can fit into that particular class or description that the court approves to certify a class. So that's the difference between the two types of lawsuits. Question from Instagram. Would there be a difference if I apply for fiance visa myself versus letting a lawyer do it? So, um, certainly it depends on do you have experience with immigration? Filling out the first form that's required for the fiance visa process is not that difficult at all. You could really get through that yourself. Most people can. The second part of the process, though, which is the consular process, I definitely advise that you and your fiance speak with an attorney, get prepared, have your fiance be prepared for that interview, and have the attorney review the visa application carefully to make sure everything is good because it will really everything rests on that interview. Okay, everything rests on that interview. Um, let's see. Can I travel? This is another Instagram question. Can I travel with an emergency advance parole if my country is on one of those 39 country lists? I wouldn't travel if I was in your shoes on advance parole. If you're from one of those 39 travel ban countries, I wouldn't do it. Okay. Let's see. Let's go down here. I have been denied my non-immigrant visa 3 times. Now my I-140 has been approved. Will my non-immigrant visa denial be an issue for my immigrant visa? I'm from one of the 75 countries. Shall I go for my interview? Yes, they're going to call you. Your case will advance all the way up to an interview. And if the pause is still in effect, they're going to just give you an exit letter informing you that they cannot issue you your visa that day due to the pause. Now, the reasons what were the reasons for the denial on the non-immigrant visa side? If they were just merely because the government didn't think you have enough ties to your country and you're likely to come here and overstay in the United States, that's not that big of a deal. But if they denied you for more serious issues like misrepresentation or fraud in connection with one of those three applications from the past, well, that's when you're going to run into an issue on the immigrant visa side of things. All right. Good question, though. Can you still put in your children's paperwork if the children if the kids or are still in Jamaica at this moment? Yes, you could still file the I-130 for the children who are in Jamaica. USCIS will adjudicate those cases all the way up until the end. Okay, looking for more questions from social media. Let's see. Thank you, Lexi24. Lexi is trying to get this in order. Lexi said, "Be respectful, people. You're getting this for free." Okay. A question from TikTok. The I-360 RFE, what do they normally ask for? It depends on, well, first of all, what type of I-360 case is this? Is this a VAWA case? This is TikTok actually. Is this a VAWA case? Is it a widow case, a widower case? What is it, SIJ? What type, or it could even be a religious visa that one is seeking here, the green card through the I-360 process. So it depends on what is missing, what you weren't able to convince them of. They're asking for more evidence or more information. It's hard to say what your RFE will be asking, but normally it's for more evidence to prove that you were abused. If it's a VAWA case, they want more proof of the abuse. Sometimes they ask you to prove the relationship, that you were actually in a genuine relationship with the abuser, if it's VAWA. But yeah, something is missing there. Work with an attorney to address the missing information. Okay. Okay, let's go down here. See if I could get to something a little different here. If we're using a joint sponsor for the affidavit of support, is it two separate forms to be signed? One from the petitioner and one for the joint sponsor? Yes. Yes, you'll need two affidavits of support. Thank you. My I-130 case has been pending since July of 2023. They're still reviewing my case, and this is for my daughter. How old is your daughter? Is your daughter over the age of 21? And then also, is your daughter married? Because it could very well be a family preference category problem. A visa is not available yet, so these individuals sit in the backlog for years, usually years. With everything that's going on with USCIS, is it okay to still reach out to them for a status update if it's been past the expected processing times? Absolutely, you should still put it. You should still put in your service request. You should still get on the phone with them. You should still, try to move the needle with your case. Okay. Let's see. These are. Any TikTok, any hope for OPT applicants from the 39 banned countries? I think so. The OPT problem is a little bit unique because you have a very fast approaching deadline by which many of you will need to transition into your OPT. Otherwise, you're going to go out of status. I would, you should jump into a lawsuit if you want to do an individual lawsuit or if you want to do a group lawsuit. I see how this could be beneficial to some OPT students. Yes. Can someone still travel from those 39 countries if you have the valid visa? Yes, the valid visa, I believe. I don't recall the language in the presidential proclamation off the top of my head. I might need to go watch my own videos from last year. Let's see. I need to go watch my own videos. That has me now I'm thinking. Because as you guys know, some things are applicable to those who didn't get a visa, hadn't been issued a visa by a certain cutoff date. But I would have to go refresh my memory on that aspect of things. Do you think they will ramp up deportations prior to Trump leaving office? Will the next administration be able to fire the current judges given they will be past their probationary period? The incoming administration will, can do that if they chose to let some good judges go who are still in their probationary period, just like what Trump did. Now, whether or not they're going to ramp up deportations again, they might do that after the elections. I would expect it to happen after the midterms, because right now things are kind of, the numbers are still high. They're still making about 1,100 arrests per day. That was like the last number that I saw. They're not at the 3,000 a day quota that they wanted to bring everything up to last year, but 1,100 is still a good number. A lot of people who they're arresting each day, but quietly. They know about 7 million. I read recently, just over the weekend, they know about 7 million people. Okay. ICE has said we know about 7 million who are not detained by us at this time. 7 million. And those 7 million include obviously people going through the deportation removal process. It could be people who are under ICE supervision, who are back at home, but checking in with ICE periodically. They say they know about 7 million non-detained folks. But they're not going after all of them, obviously, right? Because there are limits to what they really can do. Let's see. I-130s, I-130s, to my knowledge, and based on even some cases that we have, are still also facing the pause, the adjudication pause for nationals from the 39 countries, even if that national happens to be the U.S. citizen petitioner. That's what we've seen. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's see if I could get some more questions here from Instagram and TikTok. My husband and I filed an I-130, an I-45, and an I-601 in July of 2024. We have a 2-year-old U.S. citizen child together. Our application is still pending, and I was recently deported to one of the pause countries. I didn't expect the end in there. I was recently deported to one of the pause countries. So your I-45 isn't good. So you're no longer in the United States. I think we should meet one-on-one to talk about what's going on here, to see if there's a way of getting you back to the United States. I would be curious to know why they deported you. Under what basis? Why did they deport you? I'm really curious about that. If you'd like to speak with us and get another opinion about your case, make an appointment with us, okay? Okay. If you're detained and you have a removal order, but they don't remove you, no judge or court appointments 2 months ago, what to do to be released or fast remove. When you say that you have a removal order, but they don't remove you, meaning that, okay, you at one point you were in the active removal process, and then the judge issued a removal order against you, and you're still here and you're detained. What can you do to be released? If that's what you're asking there, we would look to see if, first of all, if there it could be a way to do a motion to reopen the removal case. You might even be qualified, I don't know, for an emergency stay, maybe to the BIA. Um, um, and then obviously we would be looking to see if you have a pathway forward, any petitions that could be filed on your behalf or petition that could be filed on your behalf. We would do a case assessment to request your immigration records as well. But these things are fast moving. You might even need a habeas. It just depends on a lot of different facts, but maybe a habeas. I won't need questions that had already popped up in front of me. If I could get some fresh questions, please, that would be great. My N400 has been denied. This is a question from TikTok. My N400 has been denied. With the conditional green card, what happens next? Does the green card also get denied? Wow. So they did not. So here you have someone who had a 2-year green card and filed a removal of conditions petition, and then at some point also did the naturalization. The naturalization did not work out, and now he or she is concerned about whether the N400 for naturalization will also be, I'm sorry, the green card I-751 would also be denied. It just depends on what the reason is for the 400 being denied. You should definitely meet with us so that we could gear up and assist you in the event that they do deny your removal of conditions. Okay, let's see. My husband is in Nigeria right now. Is it too late for me to file for my husband to come to the United States from Nigeria? No, it's not too late. You could still, guys, you should still move forward with an I-130 case, despite the fact that you might be facing an adjudication pause, or despite the fact that you might be facing a visa pause down the road. Still get your case in and let them get started on your process. It is not too late. Because things can change and things will change actually with these various pauses. It's just a matter of time. Okay, let's see. What will be and this is a question from TikTok, what will be the impact or the effect of a single speeding ticket on the removal of conditions application? I don't see that as being a big area of concern for the government. You'll be fine. In other words, I was arrested for a misdemeanor a very long time ago. I'm a green card holder. I'm now in Yemen, and I'll be coming back to the United States after being in Yemen for 5 months. Arrest for a misdemeanor. Now, by the way, the travel bans do not apply to green card holders. So this individual, she will be able to come right back in. I think you might be fine. I really do. But I don't know, what was this misdemeanor that you were arrested for? Do you have bring with you, if you don't have it with you there in Yemen, have someone from the United States send it to you, your documents from the court process and the arrest to show how it was resolved, that it was disposed of, and you know, the judge, the court took care of everything. You don't have anything else pending related to that. Like you said, this was a long time ago. You might not even have a big problem coming back. I mean, you might not be detained, right? You will be allowed in. I don't, I don't think that there's enough there to detain you unless it was something extremely serious that has not been resolved quite yet. Green card holder. All right. Thank you, guys. Let's see. Well, this is a question from Instagram. When my I-130 was approved for the first, my I-130 was approved for the first time, but we didn't take that path originally. Do we have to start all over again from the very beginning? Not sure what you're really asking there. Um, is your I-130 still good? That's the question. Is it still good? Um, how far did it go? It was approved, but how far did it then go? Did it go to the visa center and you didn't do anything further after it went to the visa center and they terminated the case and then notified USCIS about that? Well, in that case, then the I-130 is not good and you'll need to start all over again, okay? How long does it take when applying to sponsor my brother? Um, How long does it take? It can take anywhere from 13 to maybe 15 years. Is it, and this is a question from TikTok, is it a good time to apply for our papers right now through our spouses? I think so. My philosophy is this: now is the time for immigration. I was saying that in 2023, 2024, and I'm still saying it. Now is the time, despite everything. Now is the time, because if you have a good case with immigration, it can work out for you. Great segue into our success story from yesterday. Our client from Guyana came to this is how our client who is now out of the removal system. Deportation was terminated even in this environment. During this time, he was placed in removal. He came from Guyana in 2009 on an F2 visa, and he later had gotten an approved I-130 petition through his U.S. citizen spouse. However, his path to a green card became very complicated after his adjustment of status and I-601 waiver were denied due to issues connected to past filings submitted by a fraudulent representative. Um, After he was placed in removal here in New York, he came to us. We carefully reviewed his immigration history, of course, and developed a strategy to help him in court. And when the DHS failed to submit the required evidence, friend, on time in court, we jumped on that opportunity. We weren't going to wait. We jumped on the opportunity to file a motion to terminate his case, and the judge granted our motion this month. And so his removal proceedings were terminated, giving him the opportunity to move forward with his new, with another I-485 and I-601 waiver to USCIS. So with removal, friends, it's really good to have an attorney represent you and to know when the opportunities are there to terminate your case, because if we didn't realize that, oh, this is a great opportunity. Colleague of mine was calling me here, that if there are rare opportunities that come up during the removal process, and if your attorney is unaware of those steps and opportunities to take, well, then you lose out and then you're stuck there still in removal. So the pressure has been removed from his shoulders, and he is not in removal anymore, and for that we are thankful. So read our success story at mcbeanlaw.com/success about our client from Guyana who is now out of the deportation deportation removal system. Friends, we're going to wrap up now. Thank you so much for being with me today. Thank you for all of the support. Thank you for sharing our work. You guys are the best. This is the best community. I don't care what anyone else says on the internet. Everyone has their community, right? And I know there's overlap, of course, but you guys are the best. Thank you so much for trusting us with your important life, right? Say no more with your life. Thank you so much for trusting us. It means a great deal to us. We appreciate your attention. We appreciate your involvement. And thank you for staying plugged in. Again, our 39 country round 2 for the USCIS adjudication pause is onboarding, and it's going much faster than we expected. And so onboarding might end very soon. And once it ends, we'll announce it. Stay plugged in on our email list at mcbeanlaw.com/subscribe to know what's going on with us and with everything that we're involved in, and also to send you your questions answered, your news. We missed Friday's newsletter, by the way. And that was my fault. It was ready, but we had a lot going on with our lawsuits, and I couldn't approve it in time. So Friday's newsletter we missed, but you could always go to McBeanlaw.com's website and see the news that we summarized for you guys on that Friday. Thanks so much, friends, for being with me in this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.